All right. Good morning and welcome to the second session of our webinar series in preparation for the Hong Kong Food Expo Pro Show taking place August 13th through the 15th. I am going to share my screen really quick so you guys can see what I'm talking about. There we go. All right. Hopefully you guys can see everything okay. All right. So welcome everyone again. We're so glad you're here for this second edition of our webinar. We are excited for this year's show that's organized by the Hong Kong Trade Development Council, and it is being supported by Global LA and WUSATA, the Western U.S. Agricultural Trade Association. Thank you for joining to learn about the show and also federal resources to support U.S. companies with exporting food products. So before we get started with our guest speakers, I want to just briefly provide you with information about Global LA. Global LA is a nonprofit organization based in Los Angeles that has the mantra of connecting Los Angeles to the world and the world to Los Angeles. Global LA is dedicated to supporting international business connections and also fostering inclusive economic growth. Our mission is to attract foreign direct investment, expand companies into global markets, and also develop a highly competitive workforce. So today's program will feature three speakers: Cedric Wan, the marketing manager in the Los Angeles office of the Hong Kong Trade Development Council; Abby Martinez, a finance manager at the Small Business Administration, or SBA; and Nada Allie, who is Allie, I'm sorry, Nada, the Small Business Development Specialist at the US Exim Bank. We are privileged to hear from all of these speakers today. I will ask you to please save your questions to the end, and we'll provide an opportunity for you to come off mute and ask your question to any of our speakers. So before I turn it over to our speakers, I want to briefly introduce the Hong Kong Food Expo Pro Show and allow you to hear from exhibitors from last year's show. And I will also discuss with you briefly the USA Pavilion that we're planning, as well as the cost to participate. So give me 1 second while we tee up this video.
Our company mainly about the Vietnamese Vietnamese rice and Japonica rice, instant noodles, some grocery, and fresh food. This is the good chance for us to introduce our brand. China market is a big market. I think that Hong Kong like the bridge, the connection for us to approach China. We're using the app, the platform HKTDC that connect us with the customer. We can contact and discuss with customer on the platform to set up the meetings online.
At the people's culture through the tea. There's food fair, there's seed fair, there's wellness fair. So different sectors are showcased here. So it's well done to Hong Kong Trade Development Council for planning these trade fairs.
We are organic food supplier over 62 countries. Dry fruit, dry nuts, olive oil. This is the good timing to reach out, especially China and Pacific regions. We meet over 50 potential buyers or corporations from China, from India, from Japan, from Philippines, or from Hong Kong. We are not only promoting Turkish business, Turkish organic food, or Turkish culture, one belt, one road culture, all the Asia. Turkish culture and Chinese culture have similarity. Even some words is same. Turkey and China culture, business, food, lifestyle, education need more cooperation.
All right. So hopefully that video gave you a good overview of the Hong Kong Food Expo Pro. You could I saw that video and I was like, I thought this would be a good way for you to just kind of see it for yourself, how vibrant the show is, and that they attract exhibitors from all over the world. Cedric will go into more detail about the food and beverage industry in Hong Kong and also throughout Asia. Before I turn it over to him, I just want to let you know what Global LA is planning. We're planning a USA Pavilion for this year's show, and we're seeking 5 to 10 US companies to come with us. And companies do not have to be from the LA area. So even though it's Global LA promoting this, we're recruiting companies from throughout the US. But you do need to be a US company. We'll have a dedicated booth area for US companies, and we're offering discounted rates to participate in the show. So participation will include all the items that are mentioned on this slide. So it's really, your booth is really built out for you. You just have to show up with your products and promotional materials. The cost for participation will vary between $4,000 and for a shared booth space, or $5,500 if you want your company to have its own standard space. If you want a larger space than the standard size, we can discuss that with you and see if there's a way to accommodate you. Each standard space is 9 square meters, like you see on this slide here. These costs do not include hotel and airfare, but I do want to note that 50% of these costs are reimbursable with the WUSATA Fund Match Program if you qualify to receive support from WUSATA. WUSATA will also reimburse 50% of your travel costs. So that's including plane ticket and hotel cost. We discussed this during our first webinar of this series. And if you haven't already viewed it, you will receive the link to the recording when we send a follow-up so that you can learn about the fund match and how you can apply for the program for this opportunity. I'm also happy that we have representatives today on the call. We have Hayden Romig and also Matthew Kando from WUSATA with us, so that if there are questions at the end, if you want to ask about it, you can. So I also want to note that in addition to the trade show, depending on interest from our participants, we will plan a B2B spinoff into mainland China at the conclusion of the show, after the conclusion of the show on Monday, August the 17th. We have not determined where we will go yet, but if you're familiar with Hong Kong and the greater Bay Area of China, it is easily accessible from Hong Kong, and we can travel to Shenzhen, Guangzhou, Zhuhai, Macau, all of these places in a very short amount of time. So we will work with local authorities to plan those meetings as well as site tours so that you can better understand the food and beverage industry in the southern part of China. If you're interested in the spinoff program, in addition to the show, you can indicate your interest when you register to participate. Also, at the conclusion of this webinar, I'll send a link to a registration page, and you can express your interest in exhibiting at the show. So that will be on the lookout for that. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Cedric Wan. He's the marketing manager for the Hong Kong Trade Development Council here in Los Angeles. And he is going to give us some insight into the food and beverage industry, as well as more information about the Hong Kong show.
Hi, everyone. This is Cedric, and very nice meeting every one of you. And I'm from the Hong Kong Trade Development Council, and I'm glad that there are a lot of interest of exporting to Asia and also Hong Kong. And today my presentation will be mainly about the opportunities that you can access with the Asian F&B markets, and also a bit more about our Food Expo Pro trade show, some figures, and what's the show about. So I think I have shared the screen. Okay. Yeah, so first of all, I'll just introduce very briefly what HKTDC is. We are the official trade promotion arm of Hong Kong, and we have globally over 50 offices worldwide. And three of them are in the US, which for me, I'm based in LA, and we oversee the West Coast for trade promotion. And that's why I'm actually current at the Las Vegas Sweet and Snack Expo, and also to checking out the industry trends and also to see if there's any companies interested in coming. And two other offices of in the US are in New York and Chicago. And for us, our major mission is to promote trade between Hong Kong and various economies. We bring Hong Kong companies to the US for joining different trade shows, bringing delegations, and also we bring foreign delegations to come to Hong Kong to join our international events. So for us, we organize over 40 different events annually in Hong Kong for different industries, ranging from consumer products like food, houseware, toys, to also service sectors conferences and like healthcare and finances. So I'll jump into the major part today. So why are we looking at Asia, and why is that an important market to the fellow food exporters that who are joining today's webinar? So in fact, in the global market, over 40% of the profits revenue are from the Asia market, and we can still see a very strong growth, and I'll dissect like what's driving the growth in the next few minutes. And there are a few markets that we also have to pay attention to and also adapt to the cultural differences. But another thing is that Asia market right now we can see that consumers are also very channel sensitive. They are using various channels. So by coming to Hong Kong and joining our show, you can also touch into different channels like the traditional supermarkets, retailers, but also e-tailers and also online platforms or even restaurants and bars directly. So, what's behind the Asia market for food right now? First of all, I think it is about the lifestyle and also the progress of the middle class, because in terms of economic growth, Asia is booming for especially for some originally developing countries and nations, and we can see a strong growth there. And of course, convenience is another point because we are using a lot more of microwave food and also frozen food, and for easy transportation and also for convenience lifestyle. And another point that we have noted is that the digital transformation. So your products have to be very ready and also well packaged and promoted via different channels. It's not only about competing the prices, because with the growing consumer power, prices are, of course, everyone is very sensitive with food prices, but I think it is more on the evolving consumer values like organic, whether it's healthy, whether any pre-cooked food is actually using less oil, less salt. And these are actually values that are developing in Asia. So to generalize, I think the US products, if you want to succeed in the Asia market, I think the highlight on nutrition, convenience, and premiumization is very important, because it is the new trend in Asia and also the broader like mainland China region. And I just want to spotlight two highlighted markets that you can easily access by coming to Hong Kong. And these are very big markets that we should not miss out. So the first one is the ASEAN economy, which is in the Alliance of Southeast Asian Nations, including like countries that you're familiar, like Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, and also some like developing ones, Indonesia, Laos, Myanmar, Cambodia. And these countries are actually contributing in total 10 nations. They are contributing a GDP of $4 trillion US last year. And what's juicy about this market is that actually 60% of them are below 35, so age 35. So they are actually very young. They are having a good awareness on the products that they are consuming. And with the economy growth, there will be a very big population entering the middle class by like in the next few years. So and by exporting to these markets, I'll say you also have to perhaps consider a halal certificate because some of their products are very concerned about whether the products have halal certificate given their background. Yeah. And then another powerhouse is the Greater Bay Area, which is in mainland China. And yeah, and if we have gathered enough interest, and then we're definitely looking for towards bringing the U.S. companies to come to the mainland China, the Greater Bay Area as well, to let them to understand the market more. But in short, it is a very big population market, basically just up north from Hong Kong. And with the high-speed railway of mainland China and the southern China, including Hong Kong, basically the entire Greater Bay Area region is within reach of a high-speed train ride within 1.5 hours to 2 hours. So even the most furthest part of the Greater Bay Area, it is very reachable. Yeah, and then this is also a very fast-growing tech cluster. It is the fastest-growing tech cluster last year. Like in terms of the value, it is still behind Silicon Valley, of course, but this is the growth that we see. So there is a strong growth in terms of the economy class and also the consumer power. So by coming to Hong Kong, you can easily access the buyers from these two markets. And of course, for us, the Hong Kong Trade Development Council, we also have offices in these regions, areas. We have offices in Bangkok, Malaysia, Indonesia, Greater Bay Area, and Guangzhou and Shenzhen office. And so why Hong Kong? Why come to Hong Kong? Because apart from the ASEAN market and also the Greater Bay Area market I have mentioned, I think the familiar markets that you guys all know will be the Japanese, the Korean market. And all of these are actually very close to Hong Kong, and every year we have a good number of these buyers coming to Hong Kong to source for international products as well. So Hong Kong is a hub for re-exporting. And we have a very strong Japanese food presence as well, because like in the past, we have successfully helped a lot of Japanese food to export to ASEAN and also mainland China through our platform. So we still see a lot of like strong presence apart from the economies I mentioned, but also within the Asia region, especially for buyers. And why Hong Kong is the perfect launch pad. And I understand that the global economy situation is getting very complicated. But having said that, for Hong Kong, we remain as a very free trade hub. We don't have any import tariffs or taxes for food products and also wine products. There is for spirits like alcohol about 30% content, but for food and wine, basically, we just have very simple regulations, safety regulations, and also endangered species regulation. But apart from that, there's no import taxes, tariffs. We have a very simple tax system. We have good logistics and also a professional service network that can work very well with the Western culture, given our background of Western education and values. And of course, we are the gateway to different Asian markets. So these are just some advantages. I'll not go into very details. So I'll talk a bit more about the Food Expo Pro. So it is a 3-day trade exhibition. The dates on the screen, and it is a Thursday to a Saturday. And throughout the first 2 days, it will be for trade buyers, and also on the last day, we'll also open the show to the public. And this is the Food Expo Pro version, which is the B2B show. And we also concurrently host the Food Expo B2C in the same premises, but we have separate levels. So and for the first 2 days, we'll limit the access of the part that you are participating to trade buyers only. So we'll try to also bring in buyers for delegations from across Asia or other parts of the world to come to the Food Expo via our global offices. And last year, we have over 600 exhibitors and 18,000 global buyers from around the world. And one thing that we also do is that we will also take a look at your profile, your background, and also recommend some of the buyers to you. And thank you, Terri, for showing the video. We also have some online platforms that the I think Indonesian lady or Vietnamese lady mentioned. We also have online platform that will allow you to send requests to meet with buyers that you are interested in, just like a LinkedIn profile. Yeah. And these are just some of the exhibitors, the buyers that you will possibly meet during the show. So you can see from traditional restaurant and bars, supermarket, chain stores, networks, retailers. We also invite some wholesalers and distributors from Asia that will help you export to different parts of the world, and also resorts, airlines, convenience stores, online chains. Yeah, and throughout the last 2-3 years, we also invite the chefs and also the entree buyers from the nearby economies to come to Hong Kong and to try all the ingredients and also what they can source to add into their restaurant's recipe. So we're trying to also make the buyer base more comprehensive. And of course, a trade show, buyers, buying, selling, and we also organize a lot of events and activities. So events from exhibitors promotional forum to some cooking demo, to some seminars that are enriching all the exhibitors and buyers with the latest market trends. We have a full program and usually 2 different stages that will be talking about various trends and also exhibitors highlights. Yeah. So this is basically the very brief introduction. Of course, if you're interested in knowing more, feel free to reach out to Terri, reach out to me, and then we can also separately arrange some calls or visits if you're based in LA or the nearby region. And we are actually wanting to help the US companies to export to Hong Kong and Asia. So I do look forward to having everyone to join our USA Pavilion this August, and wish everyone a good day.
Thank you so much, Cedric. That was a lot of great information. Hopefully, now you'll see why it makes sense to do this show if you're in the food industry and you're looking to expand your business. So next, we're going to have Nada Allie join us and talk to us about Exim Bank. And all the years that I have worked in this industry of promoting trade, whenever I talked to a U.S. company that was doing business abroad, I'd always mention Exim Bank. And it is a tool that if you're not currently using or if you're not currently aware of Exim Bank and especially their export credit insurance to help protect you with exporting, I'm sure Nada will get into that. But at this time, Nada, I'll turn it over to you. And I know Nada was having issues with her camera, so you might not be able to see her pretty face while she's exhibiting, but she has a lot of great information to share. So Nada, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Terri. Thank you again for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I am going to work through these technical difficulties and get you here we go. Hold on. Okay, are you seeing everything?
Yes, we see you just fine.
All right. Thanks again for having me. My name is Nada Allie. I am a senior business development specialist with Exim Bank, which is also the Export-Import Bank of the United States. We are a U.S. federal government agency established in 1934, and we are headquarters in Washington, D.C., but we do have regional offices nationwide to help with facilitating our mission, which is to help small businesses compete and scale globally. really taking a minute here. We make the difference, and how we make the difference at XM is we level the playing field and we help small businesses to compete when they go into the global market or when they're even thinking about going into the global market. We minimize risk by your buyer, your foreign buyer not being able to pay you. And we also have the ability to supplement commercial financing as well. And we'll talk about that more as we go on. If you are only selling your products and or services domestically, you are missing out because 95% of the world's consumers are outside of the United States. So in fact, you're leaving money on the table by not looking into at least how you could diversify your particular business, company, or organization. Companies that export are more profitable. We definitely saw that during COVID. I say that because companies that were exporting during COVID were still able to turn a profit, while many of our domestic businesses lost their businesses, and some weren't even able to, recoup from that. So it does, again, diversify your portfolio and help you and your business to become more profitable. If you are part of a diaspora, you already have an in, if you will. You already have a connection in overseas markets. So it would be good for you to use that connection in order to export. And when I say export, I know it's a big word and we get to this slide all the time. Why do only 1% of companies export? It's the risk. It's the fear of the unknown. You're not sure how to do it. You're not sure if you can do it. But I'm here to let you know that with federal government resources, we help you take on that risk, and we help you grow your business globally. And we're able to use other resources with our sister agencies to put those things in play for you. Now, the ways that we can help is that we help to ensure your export receivables. We help to make sure that when you are exporting, if in fact you're not getting paid, we can assist with that. We help with working capital so that you're able to grow your business and potentially scale your business as well. And also we offer to help with equipment exports, those particular international buyers who would like to buy US equipment. We cover the spectrum again because we help you on the pre-export side with our working capital and our Make More in America initiative. And then on the post-export side, we help by providing that insurance I spoke of briefly, guarantees, and potentially direct loans. Now, we are not your traditional bank, so we don't offer loans, right, to our customers. But what we have is a working capital loan guarantee. The working capital loan guarantee is a guarantee that is put on the loan that says if in fact your foreign buyer does not pay you, we will provide up to 90% repayment to you so that you can continue to conduct business as usual. Now, the working capital loan guarantee, for example, materials can be used for equipment and labor and things of that nature. But oftentimes you're a small business owner, you have a contract or a purchase order, and you may be dealing with a financial institution that does not have an international appetite. So they aren't able to help you internationally. What that means is that, again, they don't have the funds to assist, but hopefully they're able to point you in our direction. And what happens with us is you come to XM, you work with one of our delegated authority lenders, and those are commercial banks that you're familiar with, Truist, Capital One, et cetera. They know our programs, they know how we work. And what happens is you work with one of them to obtain your loan. You still must meet the criteria and the requirements. But once you obtain your loan, we then put that guarantee on it. That guarantee that says if in fact you default, we will cover up to 90% repayment. So the working capital, while it is a great tool, oftentimes requires a bit more from you as the exporter. And that's something I'll talk about a little later when I get into our newest policy. We also have our export credit insurance. So on top of you obtaining the capital you need and having that guarantee, our most popular product is our export credit insurance. And what that does is that protects you against your foreign buyer not paying you. If in fact you have sought out your foreign buyer. You could have even, had a relationship and been working with them for a while, but unfortunately they're having a cash flow issue. They're not able to pay you. What you would then do is you would submit a claim to us, and we would make you whole up to 90%. And you would be able to recoup that money, if you will, or, not be out of that money as a small business, so that you can continue on doing your business. Now, one of the biggest caveats with export credit insurance is that you are able to offer credit terms of up to 30, 60, 90, sometimes 180 days. And this makes you more competitive because you are able to offer that, allowing your foreign buyer to hold on to cash a little longer, and you as well. So that tool pretty much solidifies, again, or adds on, I should say, to the fact that if you're not paid, we'll help pay you. And if in fact you have a buyer that needs that credit, or that wiggle room, or you may need it, you're able to offer those credit terms as well. Export credit insurance is not an insurance that you pay every month, for example, like your car or health insurance. You pay your export credit insurance premium only when you ship, or when you provide your service. Now, we have several different policies and different ways to cover you with our export credit insurance. Or multi-buyer policy means that all of your buyers that you have must be on this particular policy. It's a whole turnover policy. So once you obtain this particular multi-buyer policy, all of your buyers, all of your foreign buyers go on that particular policy. Then we have a multi-buyer select risk. This is where you may have 10 buyers, but 2 you're a little concerned about, right? You're concerned about potentially there may be an issue. So you can get a policy to only cover those 2 companies you're concerned about. And the single buyer is an opportunity for you to put one buyer on a policy and have several buyers that are just single, if in fact that works best for your particular organization. What I am excited about, and it's been, I guess, going on 3 years now, maybe, is our Direct Express Select export credit insurance policy. I mentioned earlier, we have several different types of policies, and I'll refer to them as our more traditional policies. They have a little bit more of a requirement that's needed. Our Direct Express Select policy was put into place to help our underrepresented businesses be able to compete in the global arena. So with this particular policy, it covers you up to 5 years. It covers up to $500,000. You don't have the policy issuance fees. You don't have any fees to pay up front. They are looking for those businesses that have been in business domestically and can show at least 1 year's worth of revenue, just 1 year. And what that means is that you would have to provide your company prepared tax returns or financials to show that you have made revenue within 1 year. And now you're thinking about going global. This particular policy, as well as our others, you can obtain this policy prior to going to the food show, because you're going with the intention of maybe knowing you want to meet some foreign buyers and do some business. So you can get pre-approved to have this policy, and it can travel with you. Our hope for Direct Express Select, even though it goes up to 5 years, our hope is that you outgrow it maybe year 3 or 4, and then we can amend it and slide you into one of our more traditional policies. Now, what is covered? What is covered with our export credit insurance is insolvency, bankruptcy, and very, very slow protracted default. Somebody that is very slow in paying you, and then potentially may not be able to pay you at all. We have some political risk, war, revolution, insurrection, cancellation of your import or export license. And if you're having some type of dispute, that is not covered by your export credit insurance. So, something gets shipped, it wasn't what they thought, or things of that nature. That is not something that would be covered under this particular insurance. We all know that, there are products that you can export. And as you can see, we're in a variety of industries. Mining is big right now. We have AI, power generation, but we like to spend a little bit of time on services, because a lot of small business owners don't realize that services are exportable. If you are sitting in the privacy of your office and you are teaching a class to individuals in Asia, maybe it's a 4-week class on how to do infrastructure or IT, that is an export. So services can be exported, consultant services, medical services. So that's something that I always like to point out so that everyone realizes you just don't have to have a tangible item when you're thinking about exporting. We at XM, we are open in over 180 countries. We have what we refer to as our CLS, our country limitation schedule. And what this does is it shows what countries we are open to do business in. Sometimes we are open to do business in a country longer than others. Sometimes we're only offering support for a year. Our country limitation schedule and the risk associated with the countries is all done by our economists. So we don't have any control over that, but we are open in, again, quite a few places. And we show that to you along with the footnotes on our page at xm.gov. There are a few restrictions that we do have in the export world. No military or defense related products. There are some exceptions, there are some waivers given, but again, generally no military or defense related products. Whatever your product and or service is, it must leave from the United States. It's got to leave from the United States. And we have a U.S. content policy. My colleague Abby, who you'll hear from SBA, this is one of the things that we have and they don't, because again, we don't compete, we collaborate, we are federal government agencies and we work together on things. So if it's something on our end we can't help you with, then we move you and we share you with the other federal government agencies so that you get what you need. Our U.S. content policy says that 51% of whatever it is you are making or whatever services that you may be exporting has to have 51% U.S. content. And that is set up because our mission is to create U.S. jobs. And by doing that content, we ensure that most of what it is you are exporting has been made or value has been added in the United States. Now, this is one of our success stories. Dr. Wei-Shen Lei, she and her husband are both physicians. After coming home, they would have a difficult time unwinding and coming down, and they wanted a way to be able to distract all the noise so that they could get the sleep that they needed. And they created this headband, which is so comfortable you can definitely sleep in it. It will provide you audiobooks or sounds or whatever it needs to help you decompress. This particular customer used both of XM's products. They use the export loan guarantee, the working capital loan guarantee, to obtain the funds that they needed in order to scale. And then they insured their product with our export credit insurance. You can do both. They work together well. And oftentimes when you are looking for working capital, if you have that insurance, it is a plus. The banks are looking at the fact that whatever it is that whatever your product is or your service, you have that insured, and it looks good to the bank that is less that they would have to actually worry about. I would be remiss if I didn't say that we are on all your socials, as you can see on the screen. We also encourage you to sign up to xm.gov and to trade.gov. Subscribe to get all information around exporting, information around trade, all things that have to do with actually taking your business global. We have additional resources with our insurance brokers who help you with your particular policy parameters. We have our delegated lenders, which I spoke of briefly, which are the banks that work with us, that do the working capital loans, that know our processes. And if you happen to have a financial institution you've been working with and they do have an international appetite, you can bring them to XM. They can then become a delegated lender and work with us, and you can use your same financial institution to obtain that working capital loan and that guarantee. We have our regional export promotion program. We refer to it as REP. These are our state and local partners on the ground that help us get out the information on what exporting does for your community, for your particular business, so on and so forth. We could not do this alone. So we do have REP members in different states that help us out. And lastly, we have our emerging exporter business development team, which I am a part of. We do events and webinars and trade shows and all of those things. And we offer consultations for free. These services are free. They're part of your tax dollars. So you can reach out to any of us if you would like for an actual consultation. And I know we're going to hold off on questions. So that is my information right there. And I look forward to hearing if anybody has interest. And again, thanks again for having me, Terri.
Thank you, Nada. That was an excellent presentation, and thank you for sharing all that the EXIM Bank does to support our U.S. companies. I mean, again, I can't sing you guys' praises enough. I've had so many companies come to me over the years to say they shipped something and their buyer wasn't paying, and can I help them get payment? And my first question was always, well, did you get export credit insurance? And they had no clue about export credit insurance. So it is one export 101 for me. If we're going to encourage folks to go to a trade show and find international buyers, definitely want them to have export credit insurance to insure those types of receivables. So next up, we have Abby, and Abby's going to talk about the SBA and the wonderful work they're doing over there and how you can tap into the resources of SBA for financing and also the export products that they have specifically for exporting. So you're up, Abby.
Thank you so much, Terri, and good morning or good afternoon to everyone. I'm very happy to be here today to speak to you about the SBA programs and the resources that we have available. Especially if you decide to attend the Hong Kong Food Expo, and you're selling your product internationally, I think some of the things I have to say today are going to be interesting to you. I am a finance manager here at the Small Business Administration. I actually am in the New York, New Jersey market for the Office of Manufacturing and Trade with the SBA or the Small Business Administration. And I've been here about 3 years, but I've spent many years in the private sector working with companies who have done international business and basically, help them with anything that they needed from letters of credit to EXIM Bank to SBA to foreign exchange. So definitely, I am available as a resource for you. Okay. Oh, I think I don't. Okay. Okay, so SBA, we are a federal agency that was created in 1953. We have 68 district offices throughout the United States and our U.S. territories, so U.S. Virgin Islands, Guam, etc. Basically, our mission is to help small businesses start their business, grow their business, expand their business, right? So any way that we could do that, that's what we're here to do. We basically have 4 main pillars for the SBA. The first one being our counseling and training, which is very crucial when you're starting your business. We have our disaster, which is our disaster recovery. If there was any disaster in the area, we're here to help. We also have our federal contracting, which is our 8A contracting, and we have access to capital. Okay, now today I'm really going to be talking to you more about the counseling and training and the access to capital. Okay, because I think that's where you will really benefit the most. Okay. So our counseling and training, or our business counseling and training, we really are here to strategically align ourselves with other resource partners to help you. Okay, so we look to partner with the Department of Commerce, the USDA, WUSATA, FDA, who else? We partner with so many different federal agencies, as you know, federal resources, I should say, as well as local resources, because we want to make sure that you, as a company, as a small business, you are making the most of all the information that is out there for you. Okay. I am in the Office of Manufacturing and Trade, and we do have our own website page on our SBA.gov page, and it's there on the bottom of this screen. But really and truly, we're here to help you, to support you, to help you grow your business from the, grassroots from the beginning all the way up through until you're a little too big for us, right? That's the goal. We want you to be too big for us. We don't want you to stay with SBA. We want you to grow and definitely develop your business. So some of our local resources that we use are the small business development centers, which are all located throughout the United States. There's over 100 of them in the United States. We do have our SCORE partners, which they are a group of entrepreneurs that have retired or that are looking to do mentoring of companies. And they basically are there to help counsel you, to help provide you with solutions, maybe a different way of looking at things, things of that nature. We also have our women business centers, which help to provide guidance for women who are in business, who are starting a business. And we also have our veteran business owned business outreach centers, which is our VBOC. It's really for companies that are owned or essentially have some type of veteran component to their ownership, and they can take advantage of that program. So another aspect or an aspect of the Office of Manufacturing and Trade is our trade tools that we have on our website. And as Ali mentioned, 96% of the world's purchasing power is located outside of the US. So when you think about growing your business, right? Because we talk about starting your business, but also growing your business and then expanding your business. So as you grow your business, you want to think about, what can I do to grow my business? Maybe you are already currently doing really well domestically and you want to grow internationally. Well, we can help you with that. We have different resources available to help you with that. We have our export finance programs, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. We also have, we help you develop that export plan, and not necessarily we as SBA, but even our resource partners. Our small business development centers are really there to help you with developing that business plan. The Department of Commerce is there to understand whether that market makes sense for your product, right? So all of these different resources that are available to you, whether federal, state, or local, they're all going to help you put together that picture that you can have for your company and your growth, your strategic growth for the next few years. Basically, on our website, on our trade tools website, we do have different tools that you could utilize there. We have different types of trainings as well. If you need help with your finances in your business, we can help you with that. So we really do have a whole gamma of different types of trainings available for you, the experienced exporter or experienced company, or also the startup company, right? So we want to make sure that we're helpful to every company at every stage of their business. So we at the Office of Manufacturing and Trade, we're really here to enhance your ability for the small business, for you to compete internationally or for you to compete overseas. So we have some additional tools. And like I mentioned, we do have, well, I'm getting ahead of myself here. So we do have our trade products, right, that we have there, but we really have also a new supply chain and onshoring support. We've realized that there are some companies who have gotten involved in providing their product or producing their product overseas, and now they want to bring it back to the United States. Or maybe they're looking for other suppliers of that particular product that they were sourcing from overseas. Therefore, we have right now our online portal that can provide you with some suppliers that can help you with that need there. We also, like I said, have counseling and training. You can feel free to call me or any one of my colleagues. There's 14 of us nationwide, and we're here to help small businesses and to help lenders with the programs that we offer and with how we can structure the right transaction for you. Excuse me. We also have a Office of Advocacy that provides you with access to foreign markets and tackling unfair trade. So if you have, an issue that you're coming across that you're having difficulty being able to sell a product into a particular market, we do have folks that can help you with trying to understand that a little bit better and providing you guidance and maybe telling you of a resource that you can go to help facilitate that. And of course, we have our domestic and international finance loan programs, which is really what I spend most of my time doing. And our loans are programs that are offered through our network of lenders. So similar to Exim, we don't typically fund directly to a company. Usually all our loans are supported through the lender network. And when I say a lender, it could be a bank, it could be a credit union, it could be an economic development agency that works with us, it could be a community development financial institution, it could be so many different entities, right? But I just call them lenders just so that we all understand who they are. So you can utilize, SBA has many different programs that you can utilize. And I think sometimes we think about SBA and say, oh, well, you probably can only help me if I need, a few $100,000. Well, no, we actually, like I said, we help startups, we help growing companies, and we help expanding companies, right? So if you need, let's say, a small loan under $50,000, we do have our micro lenders who can provide that type of financing for you. If, let's say, you have a need up to $350,000, we have community advantage lenders that can help you with that particular range of loan products, right? And then, of course, if you're looking to do, let's say, an owner-occupied real estate, we have a 504. But again, these are domestic programs, these are domestic products. Now, let's talk about the fun part, the international side. So on our export side of our business, we have three different loan programs that we utilize. The first one is our Export Express, and this is really probably our most flexible program that we have available. It does go up to $500,000, so anything from zero up to $500,000. You could actually use it as a line of credit, or it could be a term loan. So it really is very flexible in its use. And if you use it as a line of credit, it could support standby letters of credit. And if you understand, sometimes your suppliers may want a standby letter of credit. Or if you're going to constantly buy from them, instead of providing them with a deposit every single time, you can provide them with a standby so that they can hold that in the event that you don't pay their invoice, right? So definitely taking a look at that. The second program we have is our Export Working Capital. Now this one is for, actually, let me step back. So our Export Express is really kind of for our new to export company, right? Somebody's just starting out, just going to start getting their feet wet with exporting. Definitely that's the product to use. Our Export Working Capital is more for a company who has experience already. They already maybe have domestic business and now they're going internationally and they want to leverage their assets that they have. And definitely that's something that they can take a look at. And now I want to mention our international trade loan. And recently we came out with a new it's a new take on this. It's actually our trade loan that we've always offered, but nobody ever really looked at it in a specific way, and we are looking at it that way now. But this is a term loan. It can go up to 10 years. It's for financing up to $5 million, and that's the max that we can finance is $5 million for any of our programs. Well, except for the Express, is the 500 is the limit, but on any of our other 7A programs, it's 5 million. And this international trade loan could be used for either export expansion or import competition. So let's say you are in the food industry and you have suffered because of import competition coming in and taking over market share. You may be eligible for this international trade loan. Okay. You have to be within a specific NAICS code, and that's the North American Industry Classification System. You have to be within that a certain NAICS code in order to qualify. But if you do, you could obtain financing for that. And let me show you which NAICS codes. So the SBA administrator reviewed some of our customers or some of our inquiries that had been made and some data that had been collected, and realized that certain industries such as manufacturers in NAICS codes 31, 32, and 33, and then companies that are in the food supply chain industry have also been affected. And those food supply chain NAICS codes are listed here. If you're in any of these industries, please make note because we do have a loan program that could fit you, and your lender would probably want to help you with that as well. As I mentioned earlier, we do have finance experts like myself available throughout our nation. That QR code there is to get the listing of all of the SBA finance managers throughout the states. We do have offices in Los Angeles, in San Francisco. I know you mentioned California, so LA. I know we have somebody in Seattle, right? Colorado. So we do have folks all over. And if you have any further questions, I would suggest you reach out to them, as well, if you cannot get a hold of myself. All right, and that's it. There's my contact information if you need it. If you have any further questions or you have anything, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Abby. Such great information. There's been a lot of good changes, it looks like, at SBA as well recently. So definitely take advantage of those programs that are designed to especially support small businesses. So we are coming up to the top of the hour. I'm very mindful of the time. And we've had excellent speakers. Thank you all. You guys have all done a great job. But we still have some folks on. So before we close out, I just want to open this up for question and answers. There is a Q&A box on your screen if you want to type a question in, if that you have for any of our speakers, or if you want to raise your hand, I'll unmute you and you can ask your question directly to the speaker. So we'll wait a few more minutes, understanding that we are almost at the top of the hour. Are there any questions from any of our audience members today? And I don't see anyone yet. No one's raised their hand. And that's probably a good thing because that puts us right at the top of the hour. We are within time of what we scheduled this for. If you do have questions, please feel free to reach out. You can reach out to myself. You can tbatch at global.la or info@global.la. Either one of them will get you to me. We are continuing to promote the Hong Kong Food Expo show. So if you have any questions, please reach out. We will send a follow-up email with this recording, which if I were you, I would go back and listen again because everybody gave such great information. And also a link to register if you want to register and participate in the show. And then we will follow up with you. So thank you guys. Thanks everyone for your time today. And we wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks.